segment, as always. Friday, weeks wrapping up. Things have been crazy. Rates are up, rates are down. Where are rates going now? What's your rate? Is the segment.
The walls are closing in, wheels are falling off, everything's on fire.
Mm,
You know what I
is that
mean?
what they would? Yeah, that's what I mean. Come on, that's what
That's what
they
they'd
would
have
say.
you believe, right?
Yeah,
But those of
it's
us that
just,
are in the business, we know it's got to turn.
it's just,
It's going to turn.
it's
You got to have
well,
faith.
it's more of the same. Rates are about seven, whatever. We're not going to talk about that today.
No, you got to
But I
have
thought,
a friend that you can chit chat with on a hit show on social media in order to get through these tough times.
and to act like scratch that creative itch and to act like you have some self worth.
I'm worth
That's
it.
what this is all about.
100%.
So what's your rate today? We're not going to talk about. Don't need to talk about interest rates. They're the same as they've been the last month or whatever. But what I wanted to talk about real quick is just to give people an idea of like what interest rates. How do you find what your interest rate is? Well, depending on what lender you go to, depending on your qualifying factors like credit score, down payment, your specific loan, you're going to have a whole plethora of rates. Rates are on a spectrum. You've got very high rates that you have and very low rates that you have. Somewhere in the middle of that spectrum is going to be your qualifying rate, or what we call par rate, that doesn't come with a cost. If you want a rate lower than your par rate, you're going to pay points, added cost for that rate. If you take a rate higher on the spectrum than your qualifying rate, then you're going to get lender credits. Um, so, people are out there, they're quoting rates. Who knows? You got to ask, does that rate come with points, or talk to a loan officer? Better yet, talk to somebody, come up with a strategy.
Right.
So, Al, my question for you about all of this is, what is the strategy for paying points? Is it wise to pay points? What do you think?
It's a great point. Right now, I don't think it's wise to pay points, right? Get yourself down from a 7.25 to a 6.875. Just don't make no sense,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Why pay the points? Why pay the money, right? You're not getting that much lower, and you're going to end up refinancing this thing anyway down the road. So doesn't make sense to pay the points right now. If anything, if you have the availability, which most people don't right now because of where rates are, you want to pay, you want to try to get a lender credit to eliminate some of the costs. Take a little bit higher interest rate that you're going to have for a year, right? And these things are down. If they're down a year from now in the fives, then you made out like a bandit, right? Then you can refinance, get yourself a lower interest rate. You didn't spend as much money up front because you got a lender credit, which is essentially the lender giving you towards the cost of the loan for taking a higher interest rate. So right now it doesn't make sense to try to buy your interest rate down just so you feel a little bit better about being under 7%, so you could chit chat about it at the cookout, right?
Right.
At this point, take your medicine, stick with where you're at, right? Take your interest rate. It's not going to be great, but you can survive it. And when the time comes, you refinance it, get a lower interest rate, and that's where you'll be able to drop that payment a little bit. But don't spend the money now. Doesn't make sense.
Right. It doesn't make sense to save 50 or $100. It doesn't make sense to pay if you're buying a $400,000 house and it's a point buy down $4,000 to save $50. You're not going to be in that loan long enough to recoup that upfront investment. You're going to most likely refinance before that time. So take the higher rate. Like you said, take your medicine and then just plan on refining. And then you know what? If you still have questions and you're in the process, bring this up to your loan officer. And if they're unable to answer these questions or guide you, you're working with the wrong people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there's most people out there, at least nobody that I know, is working commissions off of points and fees, right? People just want to do the loan or not do the loan. So if you're working with somebody who's trying to sell you into a higher cost loan, right, then that's not the right person for you. Right. That doesn't make any sense. People should, your loan officer should be your advocate, try to help you navigate, the shaky, the choppy waters, right, to get you in the home and get you in a somewhat comfortable position right now so you can make the best decision down the line. Right. So, yeah, I 100% agree right now. It just doesn't make sense to try to buy it down. Take what you get, enjoy what you get until you can get the hell out.
Yeah. All right. I like my seats. I paid for my seats.
Paid for my seats. I like my seats.